Hey everybody, haven't done a video in a while. Personal life has been pretty crazy the last several months, but getting back into the hobby really hard now, so wanted to do a quick one here on some strategies I've been using. I switched over from Tau to Vior'la Sept recently, not even looking back. Love the mobility, love the hard hitting, love wrecking people because they expect Tau to castle up in the backfield and do nothing. So, joined an escalation league to force myself to play more on a regular basis. Wife approved, and the started with just a ton of infantry. Essentially, I get the list posted somewhere. I'll post it again, but basically ends up with a group of 10 fire warriors, two groups of 5. Brought Anshi for funsies, and I love him. Fireblade, 4 stealth suits, and 9 pathfinders, 3 of them with rails. And as Vior'la, not only can I advance up when I need to, but that hot-blooded stratagem works on pretty much everything I brought. So depending on the situation, I have pathfinders with rail rifles. If they're in half distance, that gives me 12 shots with the rail rifles, not to mention all the marker lights. If I pop hot-blooded on them, the stealth suits, I don't have to take target lock to advance them because I'm Vior'la. So I'll put ATS on all of them, so I can advance the stealth suits, no penalty, and get -1 AP. And then have the 10 group of fire warriors pop hot-blooded on them, and double my shots, potentially 60 if they're at half range with the Fireblade. Took 3 Unity Devastation made on the Fireblade being my warlord for this league. So potentially -1 AP for the fire warriors, at 60 shots. Nothing over strength 5 really, except for the rails. So higher toughness enemies are an issue with just the wounding, but the sheer volume you can put out with the hot-blooded, especially 500 points, seems to be compensating for that. The first list I faced, IG with one of the larger knights, melee-focused larger knights, he came in, tore through a bunch of the fire warriors, but the stealth suits and the pathfinders, being able to fall back a little bit and still unload with the hot-blooded, managed to take it down. I did win the match, but when I took the knight down, it exploded and destroyed almost everything I had. It got a really nice explosion there. Barely pulled that one out, but did win that one. And the second battle was also versus knights. It was an actual knight list, not an IG list. It was a knight list that had some Catachan infantry as backup, and I managed to kill, I believe, the armigers, 1 melee focused, 1 ranged focused, the smaller knights, and then a couple squads of Catachan infantry, and I managed to take both knights and 1 of the infantry off the board in the first 3 turns without losing a full unit. Lost most of the pathfinders and a few other things, but not a single unit was wiped. So, the ability to pick a unit that has the attack of opportunity and double its firing at 500 points has been very handy. I do plan to get that stealth unit up to 6. I was going to run 2 groups of 3, but with the hot-blooded I really want 6 because that gives me 24 shots, that's 48 shots at strength 5, AP -1 that I can deploy anywhere on the field to start pretty much, and then advance up, 8-inch move plus D6 every turn, so I can get them somewhere I want them to be. They're difficult enough to kill with the -1 that they're annoying for enemies, and 48 shots at that is going to be nice. Again, 1 large unit at least of infantry. I'm probably going to expand the other 2 out from 5 to 10 as well at the next stage, and then bring in a ghost kill so I do have something with a bit more strength. Ion kill with ATS and burst cannons. So I do have something a little stronger, a little more wound focused, but yeah. Vior'la Sept, get into a good firing range and just unload. The downside with, you can advance anything. You can, with the Vior'la, you can advance and fire your rapid fire weapons, so they were assault weapons. So there's the downside if you lose that extra hit at half range with for the rapid fire, obviously. But if you weren't going to get into half range anyways, and you can if you advance, don't forget the Cadre Fireblade ability still applies, so you now have a 30-inch assault weapon, and at 15 inches you still get the extra shot. So instead of getting 3 shots, you still get 2 shots with the Cadre Fireblade volley fire ability nearby. So a little helpful there too, if you're willing to risk it. It is a bit of risk reward running up to get that better firing profile, because I have done that where I've moved up to unload, especially some of the playtesting I did early on with the Vior'la Sept and at the small points, and move up to unload on something and just roll poorly, and then they just go, oh hey, you're in charge distance, and comes in and wrecks you. So my answer to that is going to be, other than Anshi, who is fantastic if you get him into combat, that tying up a unit when you have a rerollable 4-up invuln save, and his 6-up feel no pain is nice. I've had an opponent was running Eldar in one of the test games with the big phase blade or whatever, and couldn't kill him, and it was beautiful. Saying a lot. I got to practice my video and speaking. So, yeah. Where was I going with that? Oh, yeah, so my counter is I didn't have the points at this level to do it, and I want to be consistent about it, but next level up, all 30 Fire Warriors I'll be bringing will have pistols. I did play test with some pistols. The nice thing is that, with exceptions, most of the time, if something manages to make it into melee with you, they're typically not going to kill all your Fire Warriors, and with the Cadre Fireblade, 2 shots of strength 5 with the pistols is actually pretty handy. It's not as good as being able to fire from a distance, obviously, but it still beats just trying to fall back and not being able to shoot at all, particularly when you're fighting something like assassins who are just constantly getting up in your business. So being able to just be like, yeah, okay, you killed 3 of my Fire Warriors, but now, I've moved everybody up into you, and I'm going to fire, 15 rounds or whatever, 14 rounds of pistol fire into that unit. I'm going to do a lot more, and I'm going to keep you tied up, even if you're slowly working your way through my Fire Warriors. The rest of my army can move around, and you're just stuck engaged with that one unit unless you fall back and I shoot you. So, yeah, liking it. Didn't want to go too infantry heavy, but to start with, at the low points, it's hard to beat. So, yeah, I'll end up, what I have assembled right now, 30 Fire Warriors, Pulse Rifles, 10 Breachers. The Pathfinder unit's at 9, or at 8 right now. I'll probably maybe get it up to 10 at some point. Not in a huge hurry to add a couple of regular Pathfinders. But the rest will be battle suits. Again, stealth suits count as infantry and battle suits, but they're really more battle suity, flying, armored things. So yeah, I'll add rail sides at some point for my heavy hitters, Coldstars, the Escalation League, for those who've seen. The Escalation League is we get a free character. Opponents have to agree to use them in each match. If you don't want to use them, you don't have to. I took a Coldstars, my free character, with the open rules, added some stuff. So it's got a burst cannon, the high output burst cannon. That's a 24-inch range, AP -2, and does 2 damage each shot, which has been handy when I've gotten to use it. Then took another Coldstar, at least because I have one more, and then I'm going to go for 3 rail sides, Ghost Keel. That's probably about all I'm going to be able to fit in. And lots of drones coming to protect the rail sides mostly. But it only goes up to 1,500 points. I don't know if I'll be able to sneak anything else in. The wife did get me a Riptide for Christmas. It's still in the box because I really need to get these other things in painted order before I go building that. But maybe not makes it into the Escalation League. They are pretty sweet. Alright. If you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe. Mostly just because I need subscribers so I can get the channel name. That's my motivation. Or if you want to hear me drone on about Tau more later. So, yeah, like, comment, whatever, Facebook, YouTube, wherever I put this. I will take questions about Tau and strategies and stuff. I'm more than happy to, not really so much the math hammer, because anybody can do the math hammer, but more of a I like to come up with how could I possibly use this unit strategically? Where would it best fit? What would it complement? That kind of thing. Especially things that aren't part of the normal meta. As mentioned, I so far have never used a Riptide. I've never put fusions on my Coldstars. I typically run them with the high output burst and missile pods and ATS and or shield generator, something like that, and use them backfield instead of charging up to suicide. So maybe I'll just do a whole series on that stuff. Who knows? But I want to do more of this. Thanks for listening. If you made it through this, I might be the only person who ever listens to it. It's all right. Peace.